Hello everyone and welcome to another video. Today I have for you a friendly game of Lords and Cities that I played against Discord member LegoQuill. This was a friendly game, not a ladder game or like a tournament game, but I thought it was a good one. Put it in my logs as worth casting, and it was about time I put out another video. So I don't remember the results of this. You can see that on this map I have made a custom. In the game itself, we used tokens to represent the cities, but I've made a custom edit of the map to allow for the cities to be shown when I'm playing that way. So nothing fancy, just paint, but using MS Paint. But I'll show it here show that off at least a little bit. So yeah, nothing too fancy to say. LegoQuill, my opponent, began with Boromir out, and he drew Wisdom of Elrond and We Prove the Swifter. I started with Monsters Roused and Cruel Weather. Like I said, this was a friendly game, and in my naming system for my games, I listed in the notes I put Fun RNG Romp. So we'll see what ends up happening here. I'm not going to spend too much time on the analysis, more of just a hey, let's have some fun watching a game of War of the Ring together. So I begin by allocating one eye. All right, 2 more rolled. At least I got all my musters. Jeez. And he, of course, is using Narya Gandalf and has 2 moves, 2 Palantirs, and an army. So that's interesting. Yeah, I would be excited for the chief. He goes ahead and draws a character card I didn't process. Really, not playing Wisdom of Elrond instantly is probably fine, but I don't know, it seems like it could be pretty good. Maybe just give you your options since you don't intend to play both of your Palantirs. Isengard to war. Fellowship moves, is safe. I go ahead and just get Saruman. He moves Rohan and Old Forest Road. Fine. I token Sauron to war. Interesting. Okay. And Boromir does his thing. So Gondor is 1 from war. Yeah, and he's not going to let me get 3 dice. Yeah, by moving again and letting me get the Witch King. So I'm going to get Gothmog. And here he plays Wisdom of Elrond. All right, to do Rohan. Okay, that's fun. I dual move out of Moranon to Daggerlad and Barad-dûr to Gorgoroth. Yep. I think this can make some sense. It's something I've been experimenting with. It's probably not worth it, but it's interesting. Into the next round, he draws Safe Paths in the Dark, one of the Lord's cards. And through Day and a Night, actually has a companion out because of Lords, so that could be interesting. I get Wormtongue, which will not be in play because Wisdom of Elrond, and a Swarm of Bats. That's nice. Fellowship is good. 1 eye allocated. 1 more rolled, and he gets 3 moves and 2 Palantirs. So no will and no muster. So he draws another card. Wow. Draw a card drawing Fiend and gets Bilbo's Song, which is a great card, but a little bit early. So yeah, this is my dual move, Moranon or Daggerlad down to North Ithilien. And now I get Minas Morgul out and Far-Harad to Near-Harad. So just going to dogpile the living daylights out of Gondor. Osgiliath from Gothmog, no card. He plays a Confusion. I do hit myself once and hit him once, and he hits me twice. So that's painful. He does get to retreat to Minas Tirith, so that's good for him. Moves the Fellowship. Safe. I attack Minas Tirith. Gondor is, of course, at war, even from the attack on Osgiliath. Fellowship moves again. Are they going to be revealed into Moria with the No Balrog? Nope. I move to West Harondor despite not being at war with the Southrons and reinforce into Osgiliath. Draws another card. Athelos. Wow. All the healing cards. All the healing cards. Which healing cards are you missing? There's another way. But other than that, you've got all of them? Unless you count Mirror of Galadriel. Yeah, and I'm not sure whether to get Balrog. I go the Southrons down. He moves again and is safe. So I get the regular Witch King and as Gileath. Wow. Okay. Not quite sure what I was thinking there. He draws into Dead Men and Path of the Woes, both excellent cards, both cards he does not need right now. I get Lure of the Ring and the King is Revealed. Yeah, those are good. What's he throw? He kills Path of the Woes. Yep, that's reasonable. I see you in your 6 character cards. Yeah, geez. He declares through Moria before the Balrog. Yeah, probably was worth getting the Balrog there just so he doesn't declare through. Or at least he has to pay for it. But I don't know. He kind of wants to kill Gandalf. 1 eye allocated, 1 eye rolled, and the Gothmog die will be abandoning me. He gets some musters and some characters, so he goes for an elite in Dol Amroth. That makes sense. Pelargir from the Witch King. I cycle for no Relentless. And I do get my hits, so that's nice. I don't know quite why I guess I leave 3 guys because that'd be a perfect stack in Minas Tirith. And then Strider separates, which of course we know has Dead Men, but I'm scared. And with the Witch King in Pelargir, I put the Southrons to war. Oh no, and the Dead Men. The Dead Men. Right, I say. Yes. Well, the Witch King's dead. At least he doesn't have a will. And I can attack. And I get to keep the Gothmog die. So that's nice. I attack Pelargir from the south. I play a card. I'm assuming Great Host. Yep. But he Daring Defiances to cancel. And I miss. And he hits. I do press and recapture Pelargir, so that's nice. He consolidates to Fords and Dol Amroth. So, suck, McSuck, all over. I move out of Moria onto Dimril Dale. Yeah, that's true. Because of all his shenaniganery, the Fellowship hasn't moved this round, so that's good. And then from Osgiliath to Losh Arnach. I feel like bringing up the Southrons there would maybe be better, but keeping 5 dice in Pelargir has some benefits as well. I make an elite in Umbar. Okay. I draw a character card. Still he's passing, so I play Shelob. Yep, I was going to have to discard in a minute anyway. And he brings in Elrond. Elrond, really, not Galadriel. Okay. And the Oliphant. Nope, I make a regular. What am I doing? I move Nirn to Gorgoroth and Southrune to Eastrune? Really? I'm going to completely empty Mordor. Just to get Minas Tirith down, I guess? He draws in House of the Stewards. Oh, man. And Help Unlooked For. That could be terrible for me. And I get Black Captain Commands and Shadow Lengthens. Those are both good. I assume I throw Worm Tongue here. I threw anything other... Oh, Black Captain Commands, because the Witch King's dead. I still... Yeah, and it's a Foul Stench, which Worm Tongue also is. They're both equally useless on the top. 1 eye allocated. He gets his will, And he uses it to crown. Yep, that makes sense. I move to Minas Morgul and Vale of Karnan. Interesting. He doesn't have any musters, so I get some regular Nazgul. Yeah. So if I punch through, I don't even need that much to take Woodland Realm. He moves the Fellowship and hit with a reroll, so good orc, good little orc. It's a 2 reveal. Yep, that's a dead Gandalf if I ever seen one. I Lure of the Ring. Interesting. And get Gimli. So the best possible option there. The Fellowship's at 5 steps out and is only at -4 effective corruption. There's some chance for some shenanigans, for some corruptions here. I make an Oliphant and North Rune. Okay. He passes. I consolidate into Vale of Karnan. Okay, and I'm bringing Dol Guldur north. Yeah, I'm not going to go for Lorien with Galadriel in the wings. He passes. I hit Old Forest Road from the south. No card. He no cards. I do get the hit. He gets a hit, unfortunately. He flips Narya to move the Fellowship again. Interesting. Come on. And I get a 5. But it's Smeagol. So, well, a Smeagol for 2. Okay. I move most of Minas Morgul. I leave a guy. I'm just a little scared of a backdoor Free People's Military victory. Okay. And take Karok. Okay. He draws into a strategy card into Éomer. Possibly not very useful here. What do you throw? Man, that's quite the hand. I guess you throw Éomer or Help Unlooked For. You throw the We Prove the Swifter. Okay, that makes sense. I hit Dale from Old Forest Road, not from Vale of Karnan. With a card. And I Swarm of Bats is no quarter. Weird. Okay. I get 2 hits. Nice. And he gets 1. So. And I leave a guy in Old Forest Road. What am I protecting against? Oh, it's going to be a full stack from Vale of Karnan. Okay. And I'd rather leave a guy in Old Forest Road than Vale of Karnan. That makes sense. He draws Mirror of Galadriel, so there's the other healing card, although he's obviously not going to use it. And he gets another Scouts, but that's a little bit late there. Wonder what you throw there. I get Musterings of Long Plan War and Ring Wraiths Are Abroad, so those are excellent cards for me. He throws Scouts / Grimbjorn. Yeah, what else are you going to be scoutsing? Fords. But with that hand, it's a pretty good hand. Declares into Eastamnet. 1 eye allocated. 2 eyes rolled. Really good roll for him. He gets his will, so he gets to have Gandalf, and of course he gets that first. And of course he's getting Elrond's die, so he's still getting the keeper dice. So he's, Free People at 7 dice. Very spooky. Move from South Athilion to Osgiliath and Vale of Karnan to Dale. He consolidates Iron Hills and then retreats to Helm's Deep. I would leave the 1 guy in Fords, especially since you're holding Éomer. But okay. I attack Erebor. Why? Okay. Fellowship moves. Is safe. Osgiliath goes into Minas Tirith and Iron Hills is captured. Okay. What a weird way to do that. But now he's in the kind of wacky scenario of you have these musters, but nowhere useful to do them. I mean, what are you going to do? Recruit and Bree? Not with this scenario. So he makes a leader in Dol Amroth and a regular in Lamadon, which seems very reasonable. I politely ask him to stop. I thankfully have a Palantir, so Ring Wraiths Are Abroad can teleport a bunch of guys to Erebor and attack. Strategy card versus character card, and it's Desperate Battle versus Heroic Death, so that's pretty good pairing. I'm noting that Musterings of the Long Plan War maybe would have uses in the South that would be anti-Free People's Military Victory, but I think it was a good play anyway. Monsters Roused probably better. I get 3 hits versus his 1 back. So he gets to take the Dwarf Leader, reduce, I press, I play the other Desperate Battle, just 1, but none coming back, and I choose to just stop. Interesting. Okay. I want to have enough guys left to take Woodland Realm, I guess. He makes a leader in Dol Amroth and a regular in Lamadon. Okay. Yeah, Dol Amroth is never going anywhere. I draw a strategy card. Okay, that's kind of nice. Give myself some more options, but New Power is Rising is a very good card that I may not be willing to spend there. Because what do I have? 5 points in the Dew line, 3 points in Gondor, probably. Although I may lose Pelargir. So I'm going to need 1 more, and where's that 1 more stronghold? So where's that stronghold coming from? Is it Helm's Deep? That seems kind of unlikely. Although New Powers Rising might make that possible. He musters with Eomer into Helm's Deep. I hit Erebor again, strategy card, and I play Mumakil. Okay. Yeah. That can make sense. I do get 2 hits, but he gets 2 back, so I don't get the bonus hit clearing the stronghold. I do press just to get it gone, and I get my hits. So, all right, not bad. Dwarves are gone. They didn't get Danes, so nothing too crazy. He does draw into an Ents and the other scouts. I guess he hasn't had Red Arrow yet, but those are some pretty good cards. And is my army? Yep, my army in Erebor is Spirit of Mordorable. I get Breaking of the Fellowship and Half-Orcs and Goblin Men. So, okay, let's step back for a second. Look at this. Who's winning? He's got pretty good corruption. He's 3 moves from Mordor. I've got the Dew line thoroughly under control, but I don't have my last 2 points lined up at all. Interesting. I ask if he declares. He says no. I'm not quite sure. Maybe he's just banking the move in case he wants to separate Legolas. I'm not going to think about it too much. 1 I allocated, 1 I rolled, and it's 7 Free People dice versus 7 Shadow dice. Oof. And he gets a decent swath. A card draw, 2 characters, so he can make Mordor with an Elven Ring. He moves and is safe, and uses Elrond to keep the dice. Wow. Yeah, he's going to have an 8 action die turn. I move out of Erebor and Iron Hills to Dale. Sure. I want to leave a guy in Erebor just in case, I guess. I'm not sure that's strictly necessary, but I don't have that much of an argument with it. He moves again, is safe again. I attack Woodland Realm from Dale. So, yep. And he moves for the final move to get to Mordor. He is hit, and it's for 3, so Smeagol dies. And I get We Shall Get It. So that's nice for me at least. And I have Cruel Weather. So I Cruel Weather him. And he, of course, Elven Rings to actually make Mordor. And I miss. Jeez. So Gothmog draws the gates are closed. So there's some niceness there. He Ents. How many Ents are you holding? Just the 1? I guess just to clear the hand. No hits, but then safe paths in the dark for the corruption heal. Your only corruption you've ever taken. And to discard We Shall Get It. So we talk about how gates are closed will work when he declares into Mordor. He draws a card and gets Treebeard. I'm not quite sure why you're drawing character cards here. I guess you're looking for the blue tiles, but that's a beautiful hunt pool for hitting Mordor already. I guess there's just one red going in, but still. Maybe just playing to the out. I half-orcs into Woodland Realm just to make absolutely certain. He musters Rohan. I hit Woodland Realm. I think about a card. No card, no card. I get two of my hits. He gets one. I'm assuming I press. Yeah. No card. I get my hits. So I think not playing a card there was pretty selfish. But I guess these weren't great combat cards, and I don't have Witch King redraws, so that's a little scary. And Rohan's at war. So the turn he hits Mordor is the turn everybody's at war. He gets Horn of Gondor, and every little is a gain. I guess you could be looking for Axe and Bow in that character deck. I assume you throw Horn of Gondor. Yep. Cool. I note that I can now get the mouth because all the nations are at war. I get a red tile on Hill Trolls. He declares into Mornon, so I get the gates are closed for a 1. Okay. I'd rather draw the 1 now than halfway up the mountain with Gollum as the guide, but still not my favorite draw. Shelob goes in the pool. So he's at what? -3 corruption. I'm at 6 points showing 8 points if Mordor or if Minas Tirith falls, although we of course know that he's been holding House of the Stewards waiting for me to press, and he's got Shield Wall. Yeah, he's got Athelas and Bilbo Song, so all he needs to do is just move up that mountain and he should be just fine. 1 eye allocated, 2 eyes rolled, and a beautiful, not too many movement. He obviously would love lots of movement, but yeah, and I don't even have a muster for the mouth. Oof. He moves with the will. Okay. And it's a 3. Very efficient. Take Legolas and a Hobbit. I put a red tile in. I've got Palantirs and nothing better to do with my life. And Rohan starts mustering. Thank goodness Safe Paths Path of the Woes is gone. Obviously not that I don't know that right now. And I Palantir with a ring to get the mouth. Okay, sure. He moves again. Come on, red, and it's Shelob. All right, well, that's what I needed to be in this game at all. It was a 2 and 14, and I got it for a 3. Okay, well, still. Gollum comes in. He chooses to not reveal. Oh, yeah. Yeah, and I'm, of course, asking because I have breaking, and I want him to be revealed to deal the bonus corruption. He's mustering in Rohan. Oh, he thinks about it. Oh, yeah, it was my turn. I Hill Trolls. Where am I Hill Trollsing? I guess Minas Tirith. He makes an elite in Dol Amroth. That, I don't know. Feels like that army's too far away to do anything to me. Maybe I'm just missing something. I move a lot of leadership to Minas Tirith. Yep, all the Nazgul and the Mouth and Gothmog. Whole party. He enters again, gets 1 hit, and House of Stewards is early. Yeah. You have to assume I'm going to break through. He draws 2 shield walls. Wow, he has 3 shield walls in hand. All right, Minas Tirith, character card versus strategy. I turn off his rerolls. He gets a shield wall. 1 hit. 1 hit. Okay. I press. Character card versus strategy card. Dread and Despair versus shield wall. I assume I sacrifice 4. Yep. And I get 3 hits, -1 to his 0. He loses a guy. Another press. No card versus shield wall. I get 2 -1. So the shield walls did their thing. But Minas Tirith is probably still going to fall. He musters in the Shire and Edoras. Yeah, I guess you're protecting in. So you've started counting my points as well, and you're thinking, okay, where's my last stronghold? And you start worrying about a city's victory, a quote unquote 5 cities victory. If you're going to do that, I guess you don't have any dwarven regulars left because I'm sure they were used in Erebor. Yeah. Okay. I reinforce Minas Tirith. I'm not sure that was necessary, and march out of Umbar to West Horondor. I guess I'm worried about Aragorn. That feels pretty darn unnecessary, but. And he makes more units in the Shire and more units in Edoras. Okay. How's the elf pool? Untouched. All right. I draw Foul Thing and Denethor's Folly. I might use Denethor's Folly. And he gets Gwaihir and Rangers of the North. Thank goodness I've cleaned up. That could be really annoying. He might re-get Dale with that. He can muster in Roscabel. That would be annoying. Foof. I choose one eye. One eye allocated. One more rolled. My faithful Gothmog sticking around doing his thing. Only 2 moves. So many musters for the free people. My goodness. He moves with his Will of the West, and I get a 1 reveal. He just takes the corruption. No reveal. I take the time to play Denethor's Folly and kill a Gondor leader. I'm not sure that was worth it. He draws the final scouts, this time for sure. And I Gothmog die to draw candles, so theoretically, but he's at 4 corruption, 3 steps from dunking with Gollum and Bilbo's Song, actually. And Athelas. Jeez. He moves, and I get the others red. Oh, no. Oh, poor free peoples. Oh, jeez. So he just takes 3. Yeah, with Bilbo's Song in hand. Guess just not risk it. New Power is Rising with one of my musters. He Rangers of the North's Karok, kills the guy, and gets the guy in Roscabel. So that's annoying. I muster an elite in North Dunland. Yep. So I'm going to have to go for somewhere, and North Dunland is equidistant, or is kind of threatening everywhere at once. Is threatening a Lorien if he ever has a round with a bunch of where I get a bunch of attacks but and he gets no musters, so I can take even past Galadriel, or I could just go straight for Rivendell, or I can go to the west where there are 2 nice little cities and or Grey Havens. So there's some good there. He goes ahead and takes Karok and moves North Downs down. Yep, he's seeing kind of the same things I am. Yeah. He's trying hard to draw and I've not had any Witch King. I put South Downland to North Dunland, so I'm kind of tipping my hand, and Old Forest Road to Dale. I'm not sure that was necessary. Why not West Horondor to Pelargir, but whatever. He makes an elite in Rivendell, just shoring up all the places. I make an elite in North Dunland. He plays the Red Arrow. Okay. Are you really worried about me taking Edoras at this point? I'm not sure that was. I teased about Rohan goes back to not at war. I attack Minas Tirith with the Dread and Despair. Yeah, that Candles of Corpses wasn't going to do anything anywhere else, and I just roll 4 6s, so that's how you do that. And I'm at 8 points. So, weirdly, and I'm sure Denethor's Folly will clear in a minute here. He draws File, which is kind of nice, and I draw something else. There goes Denethor's. Nazgul Strike and Corsairs. Well, Corsairs is nice for a nice little backdoor if I desperately need. So it's actually kind of a close game thanks to the 2 reds. He has to make 3 moves with 7 dice, for crying out loud, but no Elven Rings and no Elrond power. And I've held Elrond, so even if he 3 rings for Elven Kings, he's unlikely to get Elrond's power back. So he has to make 3 moves, and most of these reveals don't do anything. And I need 2 points without losing any points. And that's going to have to happen from North Dunland. So let's go into it. He's saying, yeah, your 6s are hot. I'm not going to burn the 1 statistics look. Yeah, I'm +6 on 6s, but I'm -10 on 5s. So I'm a little hot. I mean, hot, but not crazy. 1 eye allocated. 2 eyes rolled. Gothmog, I needed you. But Elrond joins me. And only 1 move for the Fellowship. So they cannot dunk this round. On 7 dice, they rolled 1 movement. Oh, geez. He plays File. Yeah, those Palantirs. Yes, we have opinions on his roll. I think for a minute, and I go west. So he has plenty of musters no matter where I go. I am telegraphing I am going there, and he can reinforce. But if I go west, he has to defend 3 locations. He has to defend Ered Luin and the Shire or Grey Havens. And he only has 2 army moves. Despite 3 musters, or 4 musters if you count the Will of the West, he only has 2 attacks. And then I move West Hrondir towards Gileath. Why in the world would I do that? Why not Pelargir? I have absolutely no idea. We'll ignore that and pretend that it made sense. I flip the mouth. I'm in South Ered Luin. Oh, okay. I'm protecting against Path of the Woes' recapturing Minas Tirith. I do not think that was a problem, but whatever. I guess I'm also threatening Edoras. So I only need 1 of the cities in the northwest if I have a fallback of Edoras. That's pretty good, and I'm holding a Deadly Strife. He musters in Edoras. Yeah, I think you're more in danger in the north, and I go to Tower Hills, and now you're in real big trouble. He moves the Shire into the Shire and out to Lamadon, but I think a retake on Pelargir is just not going to do anything. I Elven Ring to attack Grey Havens, and because you haven't been mustering, that's going to be near free. He draws Kindred of Glorfindel. Nope, the wrong Elven stronghold. Attack Grey Havens, and I Corsairs in Grey Havens. So that's a thing that I don't get to do very often in base game or even Lords. Heck, I don't get to do that in Warriors. Versus an advantageous position, but I get my hits. He gets his hits that don't matter, and I'm at 10. So, yeah, and he says GG. I have 2 attacks. He has to use his 1 will to retake Pelargir, and then I just go take Edoras. And so he's pretty dead, and even if he musters in Ered Luin right now. Yeah, I said Edoras. I meant Ered Luin. But even if he uses muster in Ered Luin first, I have plenty to take him. So, yeah, he did lose due to the 2 reds. In a hunt pool of 14 tiles, you drew the 2 reds. So I had no business winning this game. But it's fun to see a game where the city's expansion matters, and fun to see Rangers of the North in Rosgabel. So I hope you all enjoyed this game. I think RNG Romp would be roughly a reasonable description. I guess I can pop up the statistics once. There you go. I was high on 6s, but so was he. That, of course, favors Shadow, but still. So yeah, hope you all enjoyed it. A little bit of a silly game, but Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.